Okay, well, we've got this pitched. I'll open up the front completely. Could even leave it open completely, we'll see. All right, so there is more pegging around the outside to do, but I must admit I am feeling rather tired and peckish and thirsty. At the moment. So that's the bed, and then all I got to do is blow it up. That line there belongs over there, so there is more pegging to do, but there's so little wind, I'm not going to worry about it for the moment. Let's just obviously there's not as much room here as there is in a Kieran 4 GT. Let's grab this closer and let's put that there. Right, I really want the stove board. That's the main thing for the minute, and the food bag. We've got water there, and water there, and of course I didn't bring the oh, it's nice to sit there. I think what we need to do is get this stove board out. I think I'll dig a little hole here and then put the snow over that side, but for the moment let's just use right, so can we take the glasses off for a minute? Take them off for a minute. So we've pumped it, we turn that on, and right, so there's some fuel in there now. It takes a minute to work its way around. Alright, that's lit. I do rather like this Primus. I do rather like this Primus lighter. It's a bit of a shame I've got to leave it here, because it is rather nice. Although the amount of gases going down a bit. We're undercover. I've had to do the door up because would you ever believe it, it's decided to rain. It's like because it's not freezing, I think it's like a sleety rain. So I've dug a hole here for my feet, and then the snow that I dug out, I put at the back there, and then I can use that to melt water. So once again, unfortunately, I'm talking when it's doing that, but you know, what can you do? This lighter, it's very good, I like it, but it's getting through. I've pinged a message to Beyond to drop off some more of my gas at base camp. So I hope that he would do that today or tonight, and then it'll be there for tomorrow. I don't know, but I will have to nurse that a little bit, because that's going down a lot quicker than I ever expected, and that's all I've got. So I'm sure it'll be enough to get into back down. I'm sure it'll be enough for tonight and tomorrow morning. But yeah, I will have to be. It's a bit worrying, that. But I'll just half limit tea and such, and we'll be okay. But yeah, I wasn't expecting this rain. It was like really nice, clear weather. The forecast was that the winds would calm down, but this is really blown up. But it's fine. I've not completely pegged the shelter out either. I've obviously done the four corners. And I thought, well, I'll just get under cover and just chill out for a few minutes. And then I was literally, funnily enough, I was literally thinking, I think it's time that I go out and start pegging out, you know, the rest of the, the sides of the shelter. And then bugger me, while I was out, it decided to rain, or hail. So I very quickly did the back thing here, so that one is secure. I've put the main pulk bag, I've put at the back here, and obviously I've piled up snow there, but I've not pegged that one out yet, and I've not pegged that one out yet. So when it stops raining, which I think it will in a minute, it's supposed to be good weather over these few days, so I think it's just a passing shower. So once it passes, then I will go back outside and get the rest of that pegged and get some snow into the pulk, so the pulk is weighted down good and proper. I have this funny habit of taking, because I'm just not used to wearing gloves, I'm going to melt that, and then when it's melted, before it boils, I'll pour most of it, or a lot of it, into here and into here. So basically it's kind of like ready, you know, for boiling, because I don't need to boil it now. You know, it's pointless boiling it just for it to cool off. So I'll melt it. I'll melt it, and then once it's melted, then I can distribute it and just keep enough, and then just keep enough in there to boil for a cup of tea. So I'm going to crack on with that, and we will catch up in a minute. Right, I didn't have a very good pitch, so it's actually stopped raining for a minute. So to get the front a little bit lower and not to worry about the back too much, because we can put snow, is do the front first. And now we can tighten up the back, and it's still nice and low. It's still nice and low. Yeah, that's better. That's infinitely better. Right, okay. And then this one here is just dig a hole and put a little slit in. Put your peg, even one of those holds good and well. And then tighten it, and that shouldn't move. And obviously what we can do is just put a little bit of snow don't bury your peg. That's plenty. It's just a little barrier, that's all. Right, and then we'll go and put a peg. That's that sun, finally. I don't know whether I'll be able to leave the door open or not. The forecast unfortunately shows more rain later, so put your peg through. Put a slit. I'm saying nothing. and that will hold that. I'm not worried about little drafts, so I'm not filling it in completely. I'm not gonna bother with those, I don't think. I've only got 2 pegs left anyway, so I think the other thing that I do need to do though is to put probably enough. I don't think that's going to blow away. If it was maybe howling a gale, that has pretty much gone in there. That's not, oh god, I've pulled and I've pulled and I've pulled, and that's not shifting. So I've got 2 So I've got 2 pegs. I don't think that will come. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think it's too bad. I actually think the front probably should be a little bit further forward because it's not completely tight there, but it will do. And then let's put this peg at the back, and you know, I'll keep the shovel handy, and then if I need to do something with that peg more properly, as it were, then I can do something. I'll just show you. Oh my god, bloody hell, sinky. So that's camp. I'm gonna have to try and tidy up stuff there. This is why I must admit, when you got a lot of stuff like this, then a tent is advantageous, because then you can kind of toss stuff around a bit more. But I'll put it in that I'll put the down stuff in that red bag which is at the back, and that will protect it. But I'll get into bed in a minute and get that all sorted. It's 5:30, all but 5:30, so I may as well settle in for the night now. But we've got a nice little pitch here. I've dug a hole and I've put the spade in it for 2 reasons. One, if I need to have well, if I need to crap, then I'll go a bit further away. But if I want to have a pee, then I've got a pee hole, because I don't really want yellow stains all around everywhere, and I didn't bring my pea pot, so that's my pee hole. and then I can just fill it in, and then I need to make sure I remember to fill this hole in as well before I go. So yeah, so that's around camp. We've put the snow there, we've got poles standing up, snowshoes, the skis. I didn't do any skiing this afternoon. If it had stayed, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have done anyway, but if it had have stayed nice and we hadn't have had that shower, which kind of cost me about 45 minutes, then I probably would have had a little thing. But I'm going to get under cover now. I mean, there's still an hour and a half of daylight, but skiing isn't my forte, so I'm really not that bothered about it now, to be honest. I think I just, you know, we'll get down and back into camp, and we'll maybe have a bit more of a play with the skis down there. But you know, it's quite clear that it's not something that I'm going to be particularly adept at. Maybe in the morning, if it's nice before I go, you know, that might be a time to just have a little ski around here, because it's fairly flat, but you know, there are some undulations that I can play around on. But the problem is the snow is very, very soft and very thick, and when I fall over in that, it's really difficult to get back up again. It probably would be better if the snow wasn't, you know, quite as thick. So I'll get down into camp tomorrow, and I'll have maybe have a bit more of a fiddle around in camp with the skis, because we'll just go, obviously we were going to go over the top, and it would have been like 3 odd hours, you know, to get back, but I'm just going to go straight down. So we'll probably get back in a couple of hours, if that, and it's literally just downhill all the way, so I think that'll do me. All right, I'm going to get into camp. I've put the thing there to try and get some more power. So I've basically got the large power bank charging, because it went down to half. I used a lot of power yesterday, and that was my first day. So anyway, I'm going to put my nighttime stuff on, which is basically just leave this on apart from the shirt for the moment, apart from the jacket, which I'll take off. I'll take my trousers off and my leggings off. Well, I haven't got leggings on, my socks off, I mean. Get into bed, because it's quite warm. It's quite warm in there, so I don't think I need my leggings. But I will find them and keep them handy, because if I need to have a pee, I might well just want to put them on to tiddle. If it's raining, then I'm more stuck, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then we've all this snow here. This is snow that I can use for melting and, you know, drinking and eating. And like I said, I've just got to be really careful with that gas. I hope Bjorn can drop the gas canister off, you know, the filler thing, because that's a bit, that, you know, I was just praising it and then I realised how it's going down, and I've only been out one night, so in one night I've used, you know, over half, and I haven't turned it on that much. That's a bit, I have to say, that's a bit disappointing now after I was praising it earlier. Anyway, I'm going to get into bed, and I'm going to relax for a little bit and have something to eat later. I have a cup of tea first. And like I said, I can't use the camera because I left it. Oh, I brought the wrong one. That's so stupid. I made a few Made a few boo-boos. Like I said, this hasn't got enough gas in it. I've got through more power than I was expecting, so I probably should have brought my other big power bank. I left it behind in the room because I didn't think I'd need it. And I brought the wrong bloody camera. How stupid. I suppose it's a good excuse to go in, to have to get another camera, so I can't mix them up. Well, it's definitely cooling off a little bit now. I've got another battery which I'll put in the DJI, and I'm going to put my gloves on as well. Once again, I've got the kettle on, but what I'm going to do now is I've got the water on. I've measured out 500 ml, so I'm going to have chicken rice with vegetables, this expedition meal, and see what this one's like. So once it's prepared, it's 5 minutes. I usually give them about 10. Alright, so we've put 500 ml in there. In fact, I'm just going to I'm thinking I'm going to melt some more water, because I need to have water for tomorrow. Probably not as much, but so it's 10 past, so we'll give it a few minutes. Oh, looking forward to that. Alright, catch up a bit later. Well, this chicken, vegetable and rice is not bad. Could probably do with a bit of pepper, really. I think if I get these again, which I will, because they are handy, I need to remember to bring some pepper with me. I think that's the only thing that they just need, you know, a little bit of a sparkle up, really. I think they're curry ones, and they're curry ones and they're beef ones, like the beef hot pot and things. They seem to have a little bit more flavour to them. But it certainly rehydrates well. Alright, well, I'm going to carry on eating this, and we'll catch up later on or in the morning. Thanks very much if you watched our little adventure.